So where should you start when you're trying to find your planner?
Well, shameless plug. Bustld is a great place to start because it obviously matches you to your vendors based on your quiz results. So you get to take that fun quiz and then you match to people based on like your location and your budget. So that's a great place to start. I would say once you kind of have your top people, then you want to start doing some research. Make sure you read the reviews on Bustld, look at their websites and their Instagram, get an idea of what their style is like. Do they have one specific style? Do they do a whole bunch of different styles? Read their blog, read what any articles they've submitted to Bustld. That way you get an idea of their personality too, because I think more so than probably any other vendor, you really want to make sure that your personalities are really matching, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with these people.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. I think that's true of any vendor,
yeah,
really. I mean,
it is. And then after that, you want to obviously set up an interview. And an interview is two-sided. You want to make sure that you get along with them and you agree with their philosophy and their style and how they're going to help you. And then they want to make sure that you're going to be a good fit with them as well. And, your style, and that you guys are going to be working back and forth, throughout the time. Because with a planner, you really are working, especially a full service or a partial planner, you're really working with them almost every single day. So it's important to make sure you guys are going to be a good fit on both sides.
And are able to communicate easily. And absolutely. And then that leads to, what are some of the most important questions to ask when you are interviewing a planner?
Yeah, I think it's great to come with questions for sure. So I think going back to pricing, like you talked about, understanding how they charge so that you can kind of initially think about what that cost is gonna be. I think asking them what their average budgets that they work with is a great question. Is there an average budget? Is there a minimum budget? How does that work? If I go over a certain budget, will my fee go up? How does that? That's a good
question too, because then that will sort of give you an indication of like, are they going to be comfortable in my budget range, either high or low?
Yeah, either way. And then also asking about like how they communicate, like you mentioned, is it email based? Is it going to be meetings? Is it phone calls? Like how text. how
purely emojis.
So making sure that you guys communicate in the same way is really important. And then also asking them about experience. I think experience is super important. Do they have they done a lot of weddings? Do they work a lot in your local market? Do they have great vendor recommendations? How do they make vendor recommendations? Is it like one standard list, or is it personalized to you? So those are, I think, really important questions to ask.
Oh, that's great. And then there's a lot of different types of planners, right? There's day of, there's month of, there's partial, there's obviously full.
And they all have fancy names.
They all have fancy names and cute names. And, sorry, I'm just remembering all the fancy names we came up with.
That's right.
For something perfect. And then, a la carte. And then now we're starting to see the onset of just like online planners that you can reach out to. How do I choose? How do I figure out which one makes sense for me, makes sense for my budget? Like, where do you start?
Yeah, I think it's good to do some research on your part before you go to the meeting. I think that when you're in a meeting with a planner, that's a great resource. They can help you kind of decide, okay, this is your budget, so this might be a good way. Or you say you have a lot of time, so maybe a partial planning package. Or you feel like you really don't know where to start, so full service. They can make a lot of recommendations in that meeting. But if you're kind of trying to figure that out before you go, I like to think about it like coordination is really help with kind of the logistics of things, just the last minute stuff. So month of, day of, whatever people are calling it. At the end of the day, typically they help in those final weeks and on wedding day itself. And so what's most important is you want to make sure that they're going to touch base with your vendors, help you with your timeline, help you make sure that kind of those final details are coming together. And that's great for couples who, like we talked about, have a really good hold on planning. And then there's partial and full service planning. So partial is kind of all over the board. So that's right. If you're thinking partial, definitely get a lot of details on that, because I feel like every planner offers something different. But really, it's kind of help with some things and other things you handle on your own. And then your full service planners is help with everything. And a lot of people think, hey, I don't want a full service planner because I want to be involved. Most full service planners want you to be involved. So that's a question you can ask if it's something you're worried about. But even though they're helping you with every single aspect, you're still planning your wedding and getting that experience. You're just relying on them for everything. So they're going to help you with vendor recommendations and venue search and logistics and design and all of the things that go into the wedding day. So they're really on your team from the beginning. So you want to hire them like before you get a venue or right after getting a venue so that they can help you with everything else from there on out.